Hello, everyone, and happy Sunday. Well, I guess depending on what day of the week you're actually watching this, I always forget that part. But hope you all are doing well. Nevertheless, listen, it is me, Victoria Baxter. I am Coach V. I am the new love strategist with New Thing Life Coaching. I'm a certified life dating and relationship coach. And you can learn more about that at www.newthinglifecoaching.com. And I wanted to put that introduction out here because I know that this video is actually being distributed a couple of different places. But here's something I wanted to talk about, all right? And I know that a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken, a pastor who I've typically been a fan of for the most part. But I know, like John Gray, he had made that statement about, women, needing to understand, like, you are already a wife. And you are a wife when that man finds you, because the Bible says he who finds a wife, meaning if he finds you and you're already a wife when that man finds you. And I remember, it went viral and it was something that many different people agreed with. And I remember, like, even the singer Sierra, was kind of talking about, seems like a little bit of the same thing. And just seems like the two of them were telling us to level up, and talking about, we got to be careful, when it comes to operating under the spirit of girlfriend. And I was all gung ho about it. I just thought it was amazing. I was, always telling myself, that's right. Like, I am a wife. I need a man to know, like, I am a wife. I am a wife. Like, I am a wife. And I'm not becoming, I'm not acting like a girlfriend anymore. Like, I'm gonna need men to level up and all of these other different things. And here's the problem with what was actually put out. All right. At the end of the day, we got to look at what Proverbs 18:22 is really talking about. All right. We got to look at what that really and truly means. And I know some people, they don't understand that when it comes to Bible reading, you cannot just take everything and read it literally. And just think, okay, that's exactly what's going on, because that's not always the case. Context is everything. And I don't know, maybe it's just because, one of my gifts is, knowledge. I need to know. I need to know, like, what does this word mean? What did it mean in Hebrew? What did it mean in Greek? What did it mean in Latin? Where is God coming from? Who was this written to? Who was it written for? What was the time setting? I like reading the Bible in chronological order, because you get to see how something happened here, and then it's like it went right into this, like all of these different things. And I say that because when you really take the time to look at Proverbs 18:22, and it says, he who finds, which truly means to stumble upon or to come across or to happen to cross paths with. When it says, so he who finds, a wife finds a good thing. When you look at wife and when you look at good thing, what is actually setting the tone and stating there in those, couple of words by itself, wife and good thing means like a woman who is worthy of being a godly wife. It's saying, once you come across a wife or a woman who already has all of those characteristics of being a godly wife, when you find a good woman who can help you, who can support, who would be a good partner in a marriage, who will fulfill that role as a connecto, who will do what she needs to do as far as the helpmate, as far as the helpmeet, knowing that even when you look at the Bible, let me go here for a quick second, because when you look at Genesis 2:18, and especially if you look in the amplified part. So the Lord God said, it is not good for man to be alone. I will make a helper who is just right for him. Cool. First of all, ladies, we need to understand, it says, like, yeah, helper. We are created to help these men. I know that we want to make it about what a man can do for us, and we're tired of doing things alone, and we need all of these other good. That's cool. But this is saying, like, God is saying, like, it is not good for man to be alone. I am going to make a helper, a helpmate, a helpmeet, as a connecto for him. But when you really look at Genesis 2:18 and you look at the amplified version, now the Lord God said, it is not good, beneficial for the man to be alone. I will make a helper, one who balances him, a counterpart part who is suitable and complementary for him. So we have to understand, and I don't mean to step on some toe. Well, I kind of don't mind if I do. Y'all already know this is what I do. But there is a lie that many women are telling themselves. And a lot of times women are just like, yeah, I'm already a wife. I'm already a good thing. And a lot of us are not ready, if we are completely honest. If we truly take the time to read the Bible and see what it says about a wife and a good thing, a lot of us are not ready. And if I can step on toes a little bit further, we have this thing where a lot of people are telling people or judging people as if people come with some type of quality tag attached to them. Because another thing that women are oftentimes saying is, say, I deserve nothing but the best and I won't settle. And that can be a little bit judgmental if we're not careful, right? And I remember I was looking at a Facebook post several months back, I want to say, in my private group on Facebook. And, it was like something I want to say that was talking about like a job that a man might have. And and some women can operate from the place of like, no, like that's beneath me, like, no, I'm tired of settling, no, I'm not doing it, like, no, I've been that route before, like, no, I deserve nothing but the best. And at the end of the day, here's something that we do need to understand, that there are actually 6 relationship myths when it comes to compatibility. And one is that I deserve the best and I shouldn't settle. That is a myth to tell yourself that, especially what I will say, first of all, if you are a child of God. People who believe this, they will look down on others for being different, for being in a different financial bracket, for being in a different career path, all of these different, we will look down on people, and we can end up overlooking many compatible matches, all because we are trying to pursue some idealized mate or this fantasy person that is just like them. And when we do that, it comes off like, well, not comes off, it's because we tend to have a highly inflated opinion of ourselves. And we got to be mindful with that, because we'll end up rigidly rejecting others on the basis of insufficient data. And that's not cool. And to even do so, it is arrogant, it is rude, it is cold, it is egotistical, and it is borderline narcissistic. Women have elevated themselves greatly. And yes, I am a woman who is talking about this, but women have greatly elevated themselves. And we have tried to add Bible to everything. We started telling ourselves that we are the prize. We are not settling. I deserve X, Y, and Z. I'm always talking about, ladies being tuned into the what's in it for me, the WIIFM station. Like, what is the man going to do for me? What can a man do for me? How is he going to add to this? I am the prize. It is me. I am the good thing. I am his favor. Like, no, God cares about his sons too. God cares about these men, and we need to keep in mind those things. Great. Like, we really, really need to remember that, because at the end of the day, you don't know who it is that God might connect you with. I do know that there is no such thing as the one. All right. I do not believe that. I don't. There's free will. Too many people who have been married multiple times, time and time again. So to think that there's just that one, magical, sorry, brush up, but to think that there's just that one person that God has set aside. No, now there are instances, absolutely, where God will have somebody set aside for you, where God will have a specific person or two people he was trying to bring together. But at the end of the day, both people have to hear from God as far as that is concerned. And both people have to be open to what it is that God is wanting to do. But to think that there's just that one person that is set aside for everybody, that's just not really quite how this works. But the problem comes in where women start wanting to tell God the kind of man that God needs to send. Like, we end up thinking that we know more than God. Isaiah 55, 8-9, it's like his ways are higher, his thoughts are higher. We can't even begin to think on the level that he thinks. And it's like we see things in like little measly days, weeks, months, years, maybe even decades. Like, God is like, no, like, I'm thinking about generations. Like, I'm looking at a completely different timetable than what you're on. Like, your little way of thinking cannot even compare to what I am thinking about and looking at. And we need to keep this in mind. We need to stop thinking, I'm not settling, I'm already a wife, because these are lies that we are telling ourselves that are truly keeping us single at the end of the day. Something I've asked women before: what if your husband is Gideon from Judges chapter 6, where he is like lowest of the low? Like, it talked about like his clan was like bottom, and then it's like he was like the least, person in his family. God might have, somebody set aside for you like that. Like, and you're trying to figure, like, why do I always keep coming across men that just seem like they don't have, like, God might be like, I'm trying to show you, like, this is your type. You don't even know, like, if you obedient and decide to water what it is, the seed that I'm putting in front of you. But a lot of us cannot see that. What if your idea of the best doesn't align with God? Have you thought about that? Because again, we have in our minds what we need, what we want, what we deserve. But a lot of us, we have made such bad mistakes repeatedly, like over and over and over again. We have made such awful decisions when it's come to love and dating. And but then we're trying to tell God who we're going to marry and the kind of man that we want him to send us. Think about who you wanted years ago. Think about the type that you had at some point. Do you still want that same kind of man? Because I can tell you the kind of men that I was attracted to back then, like, ugh, like I'm looking like, girl, like seriously at that point, like the things that I thought that were, cute and attractive, like you're get out of here. But here's something else I do know. I do know that Jeremiah 17:10 says that he searches and examines the heart and that he is going to reward each person based on what they deserve. So in that case, you need to be mindful with what you are telling yourself you deserve and what you are telling God to send you. Because God is looking at the motives. He's looking at all of these things and he is going to give you what it is he feels as if you actually deserve in at that time. When I take the time to study and look at all the different marriages in the Bible and wives in the Bible, when I see that those women had significant roles, like those were wives, those were good things, like those were those like that virtuous woman, like all of those different characteristics that many of those different women embodied. And we have to keep in mind again, we have a job to help these men. Yeah, they have a great role as well, provider, protector, all of that other good stuff. But do you know that you are responsible for producing whatever it is that he actually brings home and provides? Like, and that both of you have a job to protect. Like, and I think that we end up forgetting that, but we have significant roles. Look at Abigail, the one who, she married a man whose name literally meant fool, but she ended up having to protect him. And then later on, like we see that she ended up going and marrying David. Like, look at Zipporah, who was married to Moses. Moses, a man who was afraid, who was fearful, who was, he had low self-esteem, he was stuttering the whole nine. Look at David, who was all over the place. Like David's just out here fornicating, adulterating, like all of these different things, murdering, like all of this different, like you don't know who it is that God might have. The only thing that you need to worry about is becoming a wife. You need to worry about preparing and making sure that your preparation stage is actually lining up with your prayers. Because a lot of us are praying and it's like, okay, God, I'm tired. I thought I would have been married by now. I thought, just take this desire from me if you don't have anyone for me. Like, what is going on? And I can tell you this much, if you have that desire, God put that desire there, right? Psalm 37:4 says to delight in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. The key, however, it says to delight in him. And the more that you delight in him, the more that you become obedient, the more that you start wanting those things that he has been whispering to you all along, the more that you start taking those steps to prepare for what it is you want. And then guess what? He will give you the desires of your heart. You need to make sure that you are ready for what you are actually requesting of him. Can you say that you are truly ready? And a lot of us are not, if we are completely honest. You have to understand what a wife actually entails, like what it means to be a wife. You have to know what love truly is. You have to become a woman that submits if you're not already one. If you can't even submit to God's authority leading his word and his blueprint now, you're not ready. Like when you look at Ephesians 5, like and it says to submit to one another out of reverence for Christ, yes. But then it says that we are to submit to our husbands as to the Lord. And many of us, if we are honest, we are not completely submitted to God, which is why we roll our eyes when it comes to submitting to a man. But yet we're doing what? Praying and wanting God to bless us, wanting God to send us someone, wanting us to, have someone who's going to help us with the feelings of loneliness and so that we can have sex without feeling guilty, like all of these different things that we are repeatedly telling ourselves. Regardless of what we're also telling ourselves, it's not about actually, being, when you're a man who's worth submitting to, a man who knows how to lead, a woman will naturally, submit and follow. Like, no, it's about you submitting, point blank, period. That's it. There is no choosing the wrong man if you're submitted to God. That's that, first of all. When you are submitted to God, when you have your spirit cultivated, when you are delighting in him, when you are seeking him first above all else and seeking the kingdom and putting him first, like at the forefront of everything, you don't have to worry about being led astray by a counterfeit. You don't have to worry about no wrong man. None of those things would even be possible. So it's like we'll tell ourselves, yeah, well, a man worth submitting to. Like, no, the Bible does not say, like, find a good man to submit to. But what it does say is that a man will come across a woman who is ready in a good thing and he will make her a wife. And it says, wives, you are to submit to your husband. So just because you might choose wrong, that doesn't mean that you have the right to just, well, I married the wrong person, I'm not submitting. That's not how this works. But the issue is that also, here's the thing in Ephesians, the word says that husbands ought to love their wives as they love themselves. Okay? It says, husbands, you are to love your wives as you love yourselves. However, we, and I use that term loosely, we keep trying to make husbands out of men that don't even know what love is. We keep trying to make husbands out of men that don't even love themselves. That's not their, like, that's their issue. But it's now our issue because we are the ones who are trying to either love them or get them to love us. And we do that when we are not operating from a healthy, healed, and whole place. If we are sitting here looking at someone with a whole flock of issues, seeing the way that they treat them, like if you have a man who is not even treating himself well, how do you think he's going to treat you well? Now, yeah, the Bible says that we are to help, but again, helping someone who already has some type of dominion, he already has something underneath his feet, and he just needs help tending to it and making things come out of it. It's like, it doesn't say you're supposed to help him with all of these other issues. Like if you're, constantly attracting broken, like I did another video on that, that's something completely different. Submission is biblical at the end of the day, all right? God owns the copyright to marriage. God is the creator of marriage, and it's ludicrous for us to try to rewrite it as a single, but yet pray about it and be frustrated that we're still single. We got to learn to check ourselves. At the end of the day, we got to learn to check ourselves. And I was talking about when I even talked about some of the same stuff. I want to say maybe sometime last month in my group on Facebook. Some of you have already heard some of this stuff, truth be told. But when I was even releasing New Love Language, my 12-week, the group coaching program, because I remember that God gave me a dream. I didn't know it was God, I'll say that. I had a dream, and in the dream, I remember it was like the number 22. I had just opened a new business or whatever, started a business, and I opened a new PayPal account. And I remember the lady was like, all right, Miss Baxter, you're all set. You're good to go. Your initial deposit of $22 is already in there. I was like, $22? Okay, whatever. That was it. That's how the dream ended. I had no idea what was going on. So then the next morning I wake up and I'm doing my Bible reading. And I ended up going to Genesis chapter 2. And I'm like, again, reading all of this stuff and how it is not good for man to be alone. I'm going to make a helper. He put the man to sleep and he took the woman out of the man, like all of these different things. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, for some reason, like my mind just started clicking where it was like, okay, I get it now. The woman has to be ready. And she was ready. Like God created this ready woman and put this ready woman in the path of this man. And it's like when a man realizes that there's a ready woman, didn't say perfect, but when a man realizes that there's a ready woman in his face, that he crossed and he makes her a wife and he takes her as his wife, that is how he finds favor. So it's like my brain, it's like God was showing me like, yeah, you're getting it, keep going. And of course, I'm looking at, now the scripture was like Genesis 2:22, and then it was like Proverbs 18:22, and I'm just like 22, like that's it. Like those are the two scriptures right there that really show how marriage works. And I'm like sitting there like, wait a minute, 22, 20, like you just had a dream about 22. And something that might seem so simple to some people, but God just has this thing, like that's just kind of our thing, and how he talks to me about certain things. It's like he knows I'm going to figure something out at some point. And even hearing him let me know, like, okay, now that you got it, I need you to go teach my daughters. And I was like, teach them what? He's like, I need you to go reach single Christian women. I need you to reach my daughters who are wanting marriage, those who are not ready, and I need you to help them prepare. I was like, God, you're crazy. Like now you're doing too much because I'm not even married. I just got out of this bad, well, not I say bad relationship, but things had just ended with that guy, and I was all heartbroken and devastated and everything as far as that was concerned. But God was like, you have what they need, and I've called you, I've qualified you, I've anointed you. You're fit for that. Like I need you to go. And I was like, okay. And I just kept on with my ministry and just kind of let that be that. And then as more time went on, it's like now all of these scriptures are now coming to me that were all pertaining to marriage, that all had 22 in it. It was either verse 22 or chapter 22. So I knew that something was going to become of it, but I didn't know what. And then that's, of course, now how my 12-week group coaching program got launched. And I'm excited. We start June 1st. And I already have a lot of you ladies who are registered. There are still spaces available if you want in. Listen, I've helped with so many different things. I've said it before. I've helped with, excuse me, loneliness, sex, dating, healing. New love language is everything. Like, this is going to help women overcome every single obstacle. Like, this is, as I've said before, literally, this is like my entire coaching business all in 12 weeks. And I'm excited because it's like nothing that I've never launched or created before. New love language is going to dispel all the lies that you've been told, that you've believed, and that you created when it comes to love. Because for a lot of us, we want it, right? We want it desperately. But imagine being ill prepared. Imagine being the holdup to it all. Imagine the holdup has been because you didn't do this one thing. And I remember even when God showed me like the parable with the bridesmaids with the oil, and you know, like how the groom was coming and how like some of them were not ready and they waited to the last minute. It was like, okay, can I get some of your oil? And they were like, yeah, nah, you ain't getting none. And I know that parable, excuse me, has nothing to do with actual marriage. All right, I get that. I know it's talking about, Christ's return, but God was he was showing me like even with that, like a lot of people are not ready. And it's like at the end of the day, it's like you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Simple. Because you're praying, praying, praying. But what if you meet him tomorrow? Are you ready? Do you have somebody who's in your life right now? Like, what if he's checking to see how you're moving now in your singleness? What if he's checking to see, like, waiting for her to, like, I'm not quite sure if she's it. I'm not quite sure if she can handle what God has already shown me. I'm trying to see if, she's going to, like, you never know. You never know. So, ladies, if you're saying, like, hey, I need a change, like, this program is for you, if you know that you have not been able to get it right, this is for you. Like, if you want to experience redemption and transformation all at once, this is for you. Like, this is for those who sabotage. This is, as I said, this is for like the sabotagers, the repeat offenders, the serial dating shippers, like all of those, like those who are fearful, seriously, those who are ill prepared. The list goes on. For some of you, you're tired of being told to wait on God. You're tired of being told, oh, just wait on God and glean the fields, and your Boaz is coming. That's why I even wrote that book, Debunking the Fairy Tale of Boaz, because you get tired of hearing that. Your Boaz is coming. Just glean the field like Ruth. Like, no, like you're tired of being told to do all that and be patient. And if you're saying, like, yeah, I want to be proactive in my transformation and my preparedness, let's go. Like I said, everything from love, sex, dating, all in this program. Put your seatbelts on and let's go. Come with me. It is time to transform your love life. It is time to just rebuild bit by bit. It's for those who are willing to invest because they're saying, like, hey, I want to see a change by any means necessary. Like, and if that's you, come on in. Come on in. Like, you can learn more at newthinglifecoaching.com/new love language. Even if you don't come in, that's cool. Connect with me. Visit the website, subscribe, stay in contact. But when all else is like said and done, I'll just say this. If you are already someone who is telling yourself, I'm a wife, I'm a wife, I'm a wife, like I'm going to be a wife when he meets me, just pray and ask God, like, God, help me to prepare. Reveal to me anything that is displeasing to you. Show me ways that I don't have it all together. And I'm not saying that you're going to be like world's best wife as soon as you get married. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying a lot of us, like, there are some things yeah. There are some things we have not gotten it figured out. And I will say with myself, as I get ready to close this out, for the longest time, I always said that I was ready because I knew that divorce was not an option. Isn't that like the dumbest thing you've ever heard? Like, I would always tell myself, like, I know I'm ready to be a wife. I know I'm ready to get married because I know that God hates divorce. I am never getting a divorce. And I know that that is the key to marriage. Everything else. Now, mind you, I was already talking about how I was not going to be submitting at all. Like, I had all of these different things lined up. So I was like, I'm not getting a divorce. And no, I'm not submitting. I got the keys to be a good wife. And God was like, you're not ready. And I remember when God was showing that to me, and I was thinking about some of these men. Yeah, I got a long list of men that I walked away from. But I'll be honest, I got some men who, yeah, they were kind of like, I'm like, God, so that's why he didn't want me? Because I wasn't like, God, you couldn't like told me. God, like I was trying. I'm like, but God, can you bring him back? He was fine too. Like he was so fine. Like bring him back, but I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna go. Listen, just pray and ask God to help you. And if you're saying, hey, I want to see what this crazy chick is talking about who's all over the place, who keeps adjusting her bra strap, come on into this program. I promise my bra will be fixed at that point. Okay. All right. Connect with me at newthinglifecoaching.com. Listen, God bless you all. I pray that you all doing well. Thank you for tuning in. And again, connect. If you have any questions or concerns, maybe something that you feel like it wasn't addressed, drop a comment here and I will respond to it. You can also email me at heysis@newthinglifecoaching.com. But God bless, and I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.